Hey everyone, we're back for another one of Buster Keaton's silent movies, the 1926 comedy Battling Butler. Now, Alfred Butler, as played by Buster Keaton, is the heavily pampered son of a rich man whose valet, as played by Snitz Edwards, caters to his every whim. Now, Alfred's father's angry with this and suggests that Alfred should go on a hunting and fishing trip in order to try and rough it and become a man. Now, of course, even in camping, Alfred is hardly roughing it, with the likes of a spacious tent, a variety of different suits to wear, a stove, and his valet to serve him. Now, while he's out doing all this, however, he meets a girl, Sally O'Neill, in the mountains, whom he takes a liking to, even though, quite frankly, they met by him accidentally almost shooting her when he's hunting. But her father and brother aren't so thrilled with him when his valet comes to propose marriage in his place, since they feel that Alfred couldn't even begin to take care of himself, let alone a wife. But the valet is inspired by the newspaper he's carrying, which contains an article about a boxer, also named Alfred Butler, or Battling Butler, or as the nickname goes, and so that's who he claims his master to be. Her father and brother are thrilled, but since the boxer's next fight is like the next day, they help Alfred and the valet to get on the train to get to the fight. Now, much to Alfred's regret, Battling Butler, as played by Francis McDonald, wins the fight. And so Alfred determines to go back and try to tell her the truth. But upon returning, he's taken immediately to her home, where a minister is waiting, and no sooner is the wedding ceremony over than he is off to a training camp after somebody sees a newspaper article talking about Battling Butler going into training for his next fight. Now, he's able to convince his new wife to stay behind, but after a while, she decides to come to camp anyways and help him. Meanwhile, Alfred has been talking to Battling Butler's wife, that's played by Mary O'Brien, at the camp, which has made Battling Butler jealous. And when the two wives meet, Battling Butler decides to get even and go along with the gag, forcing Alfred to go into actual training for an upcoming fight. But can this untrained man win the fight? Now, like 7 chances before it, Battling Butler was based on a play. Actually, in this case, a British musical called Battling Butler. Butler with 2 T's. But unlike 7 Chances, Battling Butler made use of a property that apparently gave Buster Keaton more freedom to do his brand of comedy, thus giving him one of his favorite films that he did. Now, while the stage show had not included a boxing match on stage, Buster felt that his audience would expect him to include the fight. So he rented a gym and worked with his friend, world welterweight champion Mickey Walker, to help him plan out the fight. Gasp! The fight was staged. Now, my opinion here, after feeling somewhat let down by 7 Chances, well, except for the rather fun ending, this movie was a welcome change, more in line with the previous handful of Buster Keaton films that I had seen. I enjoyed this one greatly, from the scene in the woods of the two of them of Buster and the girl leaning on the table as it sinks into the ground, to Buster watching the first fight next to Battling Butler's manager, who was really getting into the fight, eating the punching and whatnot, and many more wonderful laugh-out-loud moments. I could see Buster Keaton's imprint on this movie, which made it that much better. I admit I'm not the most thrilled with how spoiled this character is for the movie, and I definitely want to see him get his comeuppance later. But the story also kind of falls into that old cliche of guy falls for girl, tells her to lie about himself to impress her, and then has to jump through increasingly ridiculous hoops to keep that deception going, even though he could simply tell her the truth and she would still be happy with him. But for me, these are minor things. They really don't take away my enjoyment of this movie. Now, while I do like some of the other Keaton films I have seen better, this one is still no slouch. It's definitely worth a few good laughs, and that alone makes it worth recommending. Now, this movie is available on Blu-ray and DVD from Cohen Media Group with 7 chances as part of the Buster Keaton Collection, Volume 3. Now, this release includes the new restoration of the movie, and for the most part, it looks fantastic. Sure, there are a few moments where the image shows the damage from the elements, and there are a few scratches here and there, but otherwise, it looks pretty darn good. And the double feature of the set definitely makes it's worth it to me. Now, this movie itself is 1 hour and 18 minutes in length. Well, that's all I should have to say on this one, everybody. Thanks for listening, and I hope you'll keep coming back for more.